and welcome to Good to Great School Australia's webinar on showcasing student learning and storytelling through visual arts. My name's Julie Grantham. I'm the Director of Schools for Good to Great Schools Australia. I'm also a former teacher, principal and Director General of Education in Queensland. Good to Great Schools Australia is a First Nations not-for-profit organisation founded in Cape York Peninsula. Our mission is to support the education of our future generations and all Australian students. We have a wonderful team of talented educators who work hard to serve all students in their schools. We send our greetings to First Nations people from all over Oceania and acknowledge people from all cultures. But let's start with some housekeeping. At the end of the webinar, we'll have 10 minutes for question and answers when we finish. The question and answer button is at the bottom of your screen. Use that to ask questions at any time throughout the webinar. We'll have time set aside for it at the end, but if we don't get to answer you within the webinar, we'll certainly respond within the 48 hours. Next, to see our presenters throughout the webinar, go to the top of the screen and click on View Select, then select Gallery View. Finally, we'd love your feedback on this webinar so that we can continue to meet your needs. At the end of the webinar, there will be a very short, comprehensive 5-question survey. And I shouldn't say comprehensive, but it's a very quick survey, just so that you can give us the guidance of what we need to make these webinars suiting your needs and meeting your needs. And of course, I'll make sure that we address membership. Our educators are very experienced. I'm joined today by Stephanie and Sarah, and I'd like them to introduce themselves. So over to you, Steph.
Thanks, Julie. Hi, everyone. My name's Stephanie. I'm a teaching coach and curriculum developer at Good to Great Schools Australia. I've been working in education for over a decade, with much of that time focused on direct instruction and literacy intervention, particularly supporting students with reading and spelling difficulties. And in my current role, I support schools to implement evidence-based curriculum and deliver direct instruction programs with fidelity. And I also help develop the curriculum materials to support student learning as well.
And Steph's also an expert in our mastery teaching pathway, and she's going to reference that later in the webinar. Sarah, good morning to you in France. Welcome. It's lovely to have you. And you're going to introduce yourself and tell us about yourself.
Thanks so much, Julie. Hi, I'm Sarah, the team lead and developer for visual arts here at Good to Great Schools. My experience as head of department and a teacher of visual arts allowed me to support teachers in developing best practice in their art instruction. So I feel so strongly that every classroom can run a vibrant arts program through clear supportive teachers and easy to implement methods.
And Sarah does feel very strongly about that. And when you look at our webinar today, the things that the art team build actually gives everyone that confidence that you too can be an expert in the classroom. And that's what we want to share with you today. But first, let's start at a very high level. I want to start by touching briefly on what we do at Good to Great Schools Australia. All our states and territories have the what about each of the learning areas and what schools are required to teach. Each state then usually has a curriculum authority, and they require that the school and the teacher to plan the details of how to move from that very high level document to classroom delivery. I know teachers who spend hours and hours doing this, hoping that they are interpreting the what correctly and that their ideas and resource selection meet the standards that are required. At Good to Great Schools Australia, we take the what and we turn it into the how for you. We give you the teacher guide, the lesson plans, the student workbooks, the assessment, and the guides to making judgment. And we're going to take you through those resources today. But before we start, one of the things I'd love to know is, what is your primary goal for using visual arts for storytelling in the classroom? Why did you join us today? Was it about boosting the creativity and confidence, the cross-curricular connections, creating great art displays, showcasing student progress, or developing technical skills? It may be for another reason. And if that's the case, then if you could list that in the question and answer, that would be great. I'm going to be quiet for a minute and give you time to actually reflect on those ideas and decide which one of them brings you to our webinar today. It's always a nervous wait while we wait for the results to come in. Okay, so it's pretty even for the first two, Sarah. People are looking to how they can boost the creativity and confidence and where they can look at that in cross curricular. And Steph, you're going to talk about how we can showcase that student progress. So that's great that we're going to meet people's reasons for being here through our presentation. So let's look at this webinar. In this webinar, we're going to explore storytelling by using a different medium, drawing, symbols, and portraits. Today, you'll discover creative ways to use art for student storytelling and celebration. We'll share practical activities and easy strategies to showcase progress, connect with the families, and build that great positive classroom environment. And Steph's going to take us through some innovative ways to showcase the student progress and engage with the community through meaningful art exhibitions. Sarah's going to take us through some practical ideas for fostering creativity and building the student confidence through this approach. All the materials that you will see form part of the packages of resources that we have developed to support your delivery in the classroom. So let's start with what are the challenges we face, Steph? What are the challenges in most classrooms across Australia?
Yeah, well, many teachers face significant challenges when it comes to incorporating visual arts into their classrooms. Things like time constraints, lack of confidence, and even limited resources can make it feel challenging and even overwhelming. So these barriers often result in missed opportunities to use art as a tool for creativity and storytelling, which are so vital for student engagement and confidence as well. And the good news is that, yep.
Sorry, Steph, I was just going to say it's easy to identify the challenges. Let's go into the practical responses that we're going to cover today.
Yeah, so teachers can simplify their art projects by using these ready-to-teach resources and focusing on storytelling. So showcasing student progress through exhibits or art walks not only builds confidence, but it also fosters a sense of community and connection, like you mentioned before, connecting others to their learning as well.
So now Sarah's going to take us through each of the year levels and talk about the theme that runs through each year level and show us some of the resources that actually underpin the resources that are provided in our packs to support teaching. So over to you, Sarah.
Thanks so much, Julie. So in this unit, you're going to be provided with resources that are truly ready to teach. So this means that you can step into the classroom knowing everything you need is already laid out for you. They're designed to support the development of high quality art programs. So whether you're a new teacher or an experienced one, you've got consistent, reliable tools to work with. And everything is purposeful and strategy based. So there's busy work, no fluff. There's just creative, well-structured lessons that make sense and feel good to teach. Each unit is built around a central theme, supporting the development of key skills while also encouraging creative expression, which is so important in the classroom. So for teachers, this approach provides a clear framework for scaffolding learning and assessing progress over time. So the themes connect art to students' lives and the world around them, which gives really valuable meaning to their practice. So let's take a look at the unit structure. It includes 9 ready-to-go lessons, fully aligned with the Australian curriculum. So planning is easy and curriculum requirements are covered. The lessons combine skill building and creative projects across different media, keeping students engaged with purposeful learning. What I really like about this program is how it takes the stress of planning and gives you the freedom to focus on inspiring your students, knowing you've got a clear, reliable structure to support you every step of the way. Unit 1A has been fully released in 2025, and the great news is that Unit 1B is on partial release and will be complete by the end of the year, ready to go for 2026.
Great.
So now let's take a look at each year level's units. So in Foundation, students begin their journey of self-expression through self-portraits. This unit is all about helping them explore their identity and their personal stories through art. By experimenting with shapes, lines, and colors, they gain confidence in their artistic choices. The interactive showcase at the end of the unit is a wonderful way for them to celebrate their creativity and connect others to their learning. Year 1. So in year 1, students dive into the natural world using art to tell stories about plants, animals, and textures that they observe. This unit encourages them to explore and express their ideas through drawing, painting, and 3D objects. The museum style display at the end of the unit is a fantastic opportunity for students to share their artistic explorations and for others to see their progress. So in year 2, students explore cultural traditions and celebrations through art. And in this unit, it helps them understand how art can tell stories about who we are and where we come from. By creating cultural artifacts and mixed media projects, students develop a deeper appreciation for diversity. The final treasure box project at the end is a meaningful way to showcase their learning and connect with the community. Excuse me. So let's take a look at a sample from a lesson video. So these videos walk you through the skills and techniques learned in the lesson.
Hello and welcome. My name is Solaire and I'm an artist and an art teacher based in Jersey, Channel Islands. I'm going to be teaching you some skills and techniques that will help you to improve as an artist, develop your curiosity and creativity, and improve your confidence to have a go and try new things. I can't wait to see what you do this lesson. In this lesson, we'll use shapes, patterns and pictures to show our culture. You'll need a square template to create your culture tile. In this space, you'll draw shapes, patterns and pictures. I'm from Jersey. This is a tiny island just off the coast of France. We share some of our culture with England and some of our culture with France, but we also have our own special culture. I started by drawing a castle. This is a very special monument on our island. You would have seen it behind me at the start of the videos. I won't draw all the details, but parts to show that it is a castle. I will draw our flag. This is a special flag for my island. You will see that sometimes I'm using a ruler and sometimes I'm drawing freehand. It depends on the types of shapes I want to make.
So let's look at year 3. Year 3 students take on the role of art activists using their creativity to raise awareness about environmental issues. This unit combines art with advocacy as students create clay corals affected by climate change. The collaborative coral reef installation at the end of the unit is not only a celebration of their learning, but also a powerful way to inspire action and engage the wider community. Year 4. So in year 4, students explore how artwork tells a story. This unit focuses on developing narrative skills through visual art, helping students think critically about how lines, marks, and values convey meaning. Through narrative illustrations, they learn to structure a story visually, sharing ideas and emotions in creative ways. The final showcase allows them to present their stories and engage their audience through powerful visual storytelling. So let's take a look at another sample from a video from this lesson.
Hello and welcome. My name is Sarah and I'm an artist and art teacher living in France. I can't wait for you to join us on this creative journey and see everything that you make. So come on, let's make a start. In this lesson, I'm going to use the collage that we created last lesson to create a copy of my narrative artwork in pen. I'm going to use all of the same skills and techniques that I did in my first copy to create my own narrative artwork. I'm going to repeat hanging my collage on the window with a piece of paper over top. I'm going to use a ruler to lightly outline the edges of the collage on my paper and carefully trace the outline of all of the objects that I can see.
It's a good range of techniques, Sarah, isn't it? that you're demonstrating as we go through those videos, that people would, if we haven't got that background and experience in art, we would have no idea about those. So it's wonderful to see that expansion of techniques that can be employed in the classroom. Sorry, over to you for year 5.
I can absolutely promise teachers, it's so, I know from experience, it's so intimidating. And I know from experience that we really wanted to provide a beautiful breadth of exposure to all different types of media and materials. And so in this program, we've absolutely stuffed it full, but in a really easy to use, very practical to implement in your classroom approach. So we're quite proud of it, and we hope that teachers really take advantage.
Yeah,
so let's take a look now also at year 5, moving right along, is so year 5 focuses on observation, seeing the world through an artist's eye. So students refine their technical skills by exploring contour lines, shading, and tonal variation to capture real life detail. And the tonal self-portrait at the end is a personal milestone showing their growth, both technique and self-expression. This exhibit celebrates their ability to tell stories through careful observation and precise artistic choices. So let us cycle through these beautiful slides. Last but not least, we have year 6. So students explore identity through abstract and cubist inspired paintings. They experiment with color mixing, tonal layering, and composition to communicate a sense of self. This unit encourages individuality, self-reflection, and both of these things help students understand how artistic choices express who they are. The final exhibit at Cubist-inspired paintings is a vibrant celebration of identity, creativity, and technical mastery as they prepare to transition into secondary school. So here you can see how all of the resources that are developed for these units, all 3 of these, the teaching guide, the lessons, and the student workbook, connect seamlessly. This alignment makes it easy for teachers to stay organized and deliver lessons confidently, while students benefit from a consistent, clear learning experience.
Can I just say, Sarah, that one of the things I noticed through all your presentation are the images and the beauty of the images that are selected. And I think that's something that adds to a classroom environment. It inspires not just the teacher, but the students as well. So well done. The team's done an excellent job. Just a reminder here, with questions, there's no open questions yet, but if there's something you'd like to ask Sarah or Steph after she's talked soon, please pop it into the Q&A, or you may like to just make a comment on what you've seen, or ask Sarah a technical question. They're both here to answer your questions so that when you pick this program up and prepare to implement it into your classroom, you're well prepared. So Steph, we've talked about student engagement. We've talked about sharing with the community very briefly. Take us through some of the steps that will help people achieve this. What are some next steps that we can do to bring these practices into our classrooms and into our schools?
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at bringing stories to life, storytelling is really at the heart of visual art. So by encouraging students to create art that reflects their personal stories, you're helping them to connect their work on a deeper level. So a storytelling gallery is a great way to celebrate the creativity and share stories with the class. Art walks highlight the growth in a dynamic and reflective way as well. So they allow students to articulate their creative choices and recognize their own progress, and also enjoy a shared sense of pride with their peers as well. Art exhibits may offer a meaningful platform for showcasing learning. So by involving students in this planning process, you're giving them ownership of their artwork to create a meaningful experience for everyone involved. And creativity doesn't have to take a lot of time. So quick daily activities can spark imagination and help students feel more confident in their artistic abilities. And by encouraging experimentation, you're showing them that art is about exploration and it's about self-expression as well. So visual storytelling is a powerful way to build student progress. And by helping them reflect on their own work and share it with others, you're showing them that their stories really do matter. And peer recognition is a really important part of that, of helping students feel valued as well.
People may like to pop into the chat, Steph, if they've done any of those engagement opportunities and make some comment about those, or if they've seen something else that's been highly engaging and successful. We'd love to hear about it because we're always wanting to learn and know. So please feel free to pop that into there. Sorry, Steph. Let's go on to professional learning and how we can support teachers to really build that confidence.
Yeah, now looking at the professional learning side of things, Good to Great Schools Australia offers a wealth of resources and professional learning opportunities to support your teaching. So by joining a community of educators, you'll gain the tools and the confidence needed to deliver these engaging, impactful visual arts lessons, no matter if it's your specialty or if it's not. It doesn't matter what your starting point is. That's the purpose of our resources. So looking at our Mastery Teaching Pathway, this is our professional development platform for educators and school teams. It's available to all of our members and it offers certified training aligned with Australian National Teaching Standards and school improvement goals. It's designed for everyone in education, so from principals to teaching assistants, and it equips them with the essential skills needed for success.
It's a great comment, Steph, that Kate, if you go back up to that previous slide, that's a great comment from Kate at one of our partner schools, where she's talked about the value of this being available 24/7. You know, where teachers can do and engage in this work at their own pace. And so, you know, I think that's an important point she makes there, that, you know, by having it in this format, people can really engage, you know, when it's convenient for them.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, everyone's super busy. Everyone has their own different schedules. So to be able to complete things in your own time has proven really handy for everyone in education. So looking at our professional learning modules, they're grouped by purpose to support different professional learning needs. As we know, no two people need the same support. So we've got our course modules. They focus on building effective teaching knowledge and confidence across all subjects. They're more about foundational modules. And then we have our program specific modules, and they offer deep training aligned to specific programs. And Sarah's going to talk about the visual arts one. This goes into like the overview of the program, different teaching practices you'll need, instructional strategies as well, and supportive resources for those who aren't confident with visual arts, for example, different unit and lesson components, scenarios, and then the assessment and success criteria as well. Then we have our practice modules. So they're the short targeted lessons to address specific teaching challenges. Whether you start teaching and you realize you need support in a certain area, you can quickly go and complete those. And then we have the collegial modules. So they're designed for whole school teams to learn together. And schools find this is really great for student-free days with a focus on evidence-based practices as well.
Thanks, Steph. I'm just going to speak here for a moment about our learning module in visual arts called Teach Visual Arts. And it includes 10 ready-to-use lessons that have everything you need to deliver engaging visual arts sessions. It also includes 4 support lessons, which cover key vocabulary, techniques, and classroom tips, which is perfect for non-experts, especially those people who might feel really intimidated by the idea of having an explosion of art supplies all over the classroom and how to manage those. All of that is laid out, and we've considered every possible scenario to give you a classroom that would run really efficiently. And they're designed to build your confidence and make teaching visual arts feel manageable, again, even if it's not your specialty.
And I think that's where value is, isn't it? You know, by preparing, it's all part of the preparation. By preparing, knowing what the expectation is, knowing how simple our resource can make this, the delivery into the classroom becomes seamless. And I think that, you know, is something that really builds the confidence in people. Okay, let's move more into whole school success. So I know that leaders in our schools are always looking for opportunities to support success right across the school. That toolkit of resources that Sarah has demonstrated and that Steph has referred to, whether they're curriculum, professional learning, or school improvement tools, all of them will contribute to school-wide support and implementation. We have what we call partner schools. They thrive because they do just that. They look at the professional learning, they look at all the resources that are there, and the teachers adopt and adapt those into their classrooms. They're all looking for those high quality resources that support that achievement. If you're a partner school and lucky enough to be at one of our partner schools, we also give a further 10 hours of support And it's not in any particular area. It's by working with you to help you plan how we meet those challenges so that you can make the full use of our resources and apply them effectively across your school. So what's included in a partner school membership? I've talked about that before. It's all that evidence-based, explicit and effective teaching that's supported by the great curriculum. It will build the skills and boost results in your classrooms. The materials I talked about can be used flexibly, and how those learning modules are available 24/7, as are the curriculum modules. Everything is available on our website, and you simply have to become a member to access it for free. All our additional coaching supports successful implementation. And I know Steph has been working with some schools this week in Victoria who are really taking on that coaching and exploring what the resources are so that they can make the most of it. Already half the primary schools in Australia access Good to Great Schools free resources. They cover all those areas we've talked about. But why have we done it? We do it because we believe that every teacher should be supported to deliver effective teaching with great curriculum programs. What we design our resources to do is to reduce your teacher workload, to provide the guide to aid that effective teaching, and make sure that the program delivery is supported. We focus on student engagement and how they master those skills and knowledge. And we also look at how it increases the cohesion across the school when people and teachers are using the programs in every year level from P to 6. The tailored professional development supports our teachers to master those effective teaching practices, as I said, and we keep coming back to build that confidence for people to implement this program effectively. I think we've answered all the questions we've answered everyone's questions as we've gone. But Sarah, one of the things that people always talk about when we go out and we are implementing these programs into our partner schools is some schools don't have unlimited art materials. They don't have, an unlimited budget in which to, support an art program. So how the lessons are amazing. But can the activities be adapted to schools with very limited materials and a very limited budget?
Yeah, absolutely, Julie. We kept in mind there might be special art rooms, but you might just have an art cart and you might be sharing that art cart with another classroom. So we really thought of that at the outset, and we really thought it carefully when developing the materials list. They're really designed with this in mind. So materials are chosen really carefully such that they're easy to access, and they have budget-friendly versions. So when you do your procurement, you can easily find a more affordable option for your budget.
Right. And one of the things we've talked over and over throughout this is building the creativity and the confidence. Now, I know many, many students and many teachers that don't have the confidence in this area. So how do you go about, for students, I can't draw, I can't do this, I can't do that. How do you build that confidence? They start off low in their confidence level. What are some strategies that you use to make them feel comfortable? For example, in sharing their artwork or their exhibits, to family, to community. How do you build that confidence?
Yeah, well, student hesitation and anxiety around making art and specifically sharing art is part of the student experience in visual arts. And so it's really important that we develop right at the outset, as part of the classroom culture, a sense of safety and a community. And I would say that this is, from my experience, one of the most important tenets of the art classroom. And so when developing these lessons, we thought really carefully about how to build that sense of culture and community and weave it throughout every single lesson, so that as you're teaching the lessons, you're actually building this sense of safety for students to feel more and more confident in sharing their artwork. And so it's done by explicitly modeling respect, curiosity, and a sense of togetherness, so that sharing artwork feels very safe and really supported in the classroom.
Great. One of the other things I know teachers aren't confident. When you don't have content confidence, you don't have assessment confidence. do all the units include that guidance and assessment rubrics, to help track that development, that creativity that develops over time? Does that package, is that extensive as well, so people can approach us and implement this with confidence?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a formative assessment rubric that's used to assess progress over weeks 1 to 4. And it has super clear guidance, targets laid out for easy, clear assessment of student work. And then there's a summative assessment package provided to assess work at the end of the unit. So it's really important to stress here that there's no guesswork. There's no uncertainty about how to assess an artwork. That's all very clearly laid out so that teachers don't need to feel any doubt or hesitation when making a really strong, clear assessment of student progress.
Right. Steph, I'm going to ask you a question because not many teachers are a specialist teacher like Sarah. Often in secondary schools, you get the specialist art teachers, but in primary school, that's less frequent. So when you're not a visual arts specialist, talk to me more about that professional learning that you touched on, so that you're building that confidence to teach these lessons.
Yeah, absolutely. So our professional learning focuses on building the practical confidence for teachers. So it shows things like modeling how to actually deliver activities, breaking down common challenges that teachers have when in their delivery, and also giving you simple strategies that you can use in the classroom for guiding students through each step as well. Because if you're not confident and the students aren't confident, there's going to be an issue there. So it actually breaks all of that down for you. And it's designed so that teachers with little or even no experience can feel prepared and feel supported and feel ready to teach visual arts successfully. So also remember that the resources that are given to you, which we've mentioned, but you've got your PowerPoint lessons, you've got the teaching guide, which is scripted and tells you, the sequence to follow, but also the interactive videos like we watched today. I mean, I think I could trace off a window, an artwork now myself. So you actually get to watch and visualize and be engaged as well with the students. So you've got all that already given to you, the assessments are already given, the answers are already given. So all of that's embedded and it supports teachers enough. I mean, I feel confident enough to be able to teach visual arts, knowing all the resources, because I know how much time Sarah and the team have actually put into all of that.
And yes, I agree. And one of the things that people can do, remember, is to access all of that at their own leisure, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think I would be one of those people that would need to build my confidence, and I think I'm not alone when it comes to that. Sarah, I'm going to come back to you for one last question. What does an art walk or a classroom exhibition look like in practice?
So just speaking back to that sense of culture and community, we wanted to have every single lesson celebrate the sense of coming together and looking at each other's work. So an art walk is a classroom routine that happens at the end of every lesson, which is, as I said, a time when things are cleaned up and now it's time to take a moment and circulate and visit everybody's artwork. And so that again is modeled by the teacher so that those cultural expectations are really clear for students. And a classroom exhibition, on the other hand, celebrates what's happened at the end of the unit. So that's where all the final summative pieces are complete. And these are being shared in a classroom setting, but also in some units. Teachers are invited to consider installing these in a wider school setting for the whole school to participate in. And so if you receive our monthly newsletter, you're going to find a section where teachers can share examples of student work created using our lesson. So if your class holds an exhibition or even during an art walk practice, we'd love to see how it turned out. And we may feature it to inspire our wider school community. So that would be amazing.
We talk about our teacher guide, but I think the whole program is a guide, isn't it? We could wrap it all up with a bow. So we're coming towards the end, but one of the things that I want to just touch on is membership. To access all of these fantastic resources that we've presented to you today, that are, again, I'll say it again, are free, you must be a member of the Good to Great Schools membership platform. You can be an individual member and see that code there. You can scan that to become an individual member, or you can become a partner school, and your school leadership signs your school up for a partner school status. And that's, we have at least 5 teachers from a particular school or 5 or more members to become a partner school so that you have access to different things, and I'll go into that. If you want to become a partner school, your leadership needs to email us at info@goodtogreatschools.org.au. And of course, I talked before about the access to additional programs, that expert coaching and the school improvement tools that we can help you with as you go through. We always leave you with a gift, and the one today I think is great. So Sarah talked about every year level and what a lesson could look like and the theme of all those year levels. But what your gift today will be one lesson from every year level of our visual arts curriculum. So I think that's great that you can actually look and see what a lesson looks like and see if that fits your curriculum. Okay, everyone, we've come to the end of our time. Thank you for your attendance today. We didn't get any questions, but I'm hopeful when that happens, I think that we've answered all the questions along the way. All the content that you've seen today, we'll send that to you, both the recording of the webinar and the slide content. Can I thank Sarah and Steph for being with us today and for presenting so wonderfully as always. See there on the screen, there's a link to our next week webinar, which is supporting students with special needs, 5 practical school strategies. So we're trying to make all our webinars very practical and where you can adopt strategies straight away. We generally have a webinar every week, so keep an eye on our social media so that you can register or express your interest. I'm about to say goodbye, but don't forget there's that very short survey to complete, 5 questions, and that will give us that feedback we need to make sure that we keep providing content that you find to be valuable. So thank you, everyone, and thank you again, Sarah and Steph, and good afternoon.